percentage in your mind do you guys think? This is it. Okay, well, talking about risk, talking about percentages, we do have an Armageddon game between Nodirbek Abdusattorov and Gukesh, and they are off. Remember, Nodirbek will start with 10 minutes on the clock. Gukesh will just 7 minutes. The players, once they reach past move 40, will be getting a 1 second increment, and this is the most important thing. Gukesh has draw odds.
And it's a quick start to this game. It's another Catalan, just as we saw between Magnus Carlsen and Anish Giri, but a totally different variation here off in the center as quickly as possible and go down to a symmetrical structure. This tends to favor white's light squared bishop, but if black can solve his problems concretely, as Gukesh is kind of banking on doing here, then he'll be very happy. And okay, look at this, he's getting ready to kick back the white queen. He's getting ready to play b5. White can restore the balance, but black's gaining some time. White's queen is losing several tempi here, Judith.
Absolutely. Black goes b5, bishop b7 in a second will be on the board.
Looks totally fine to me.
It's a very healthy position, right, for both sides, but Nodirbek is under pressure, must-win situation, and it seems like Gukesh wants to play healthy and safe.
Yeah, his position looks very healthy and safe right now. I don't see how white can get active just by the fact that Abdusattorov is pausing right now. It means that he is out of book, or at least he's not too familiar with the move orders, the ideas. If I remember correctly, maybe he shouldn't have castled because now black is able to kind of neutralize white's light squared bishop. And if black gets 2 more moves, just gets castled, then black is extremely happy. And okay, sliding with the rook first. Already white's queen is so uncomfortably placed. c2.
Yeah. Black has a very nice development.
Wow, I mean, just taking a look at the database here on chess.com, I can see that the stats were very much in black's favor. I think it was like 60% was a victory for black. And here, Gukesh has simply found a nice home for his queen. Everything is perfectly placed. All he needs to do is just skedaddle with the king to safety and easy position.
Yeah, super play and super speed from Gukesh. He's only used around 30 seconds to get to this point. The time deficit has halved. It's only down to 1.5 minutes difference. And yeah, perfect position. Symmetrical, not too difficult. No real calculation or tactics to be seen. a4. He has to try something. Abdusattorov. He has to try to disbalance this position.
b4, he wants to go a5, I believe, and go knight a4. Though I'm not sure the white knight will be very happy over there on the rim.
Yeah, he has to go for it though. That's the key, and I think we're headed down that direction, Judith. a5 here, you simply have to kick back that black queen, have to do something.
It's not fun for white to move away the knight from c3 because the bishop can show up on d5, queen on b7, and black can have a very dominating position with the bishop pair in the center.
I think we might see that dominating position anyway, as long as the black queen can find a safe square.
And if I were black, I would probably tuck it in the corner. I mean, it looks a bit strange, but I was a little bit afraid that if you put your queen on d8, that it might not be so comfortable later on once the white rook centralize.
At the same time, after knight a4, the a5 pawn might be someday a loss for white.
Yeah, watch out for that pawn dropping off the board. And Nodirbek...
Immediately after knight a4, right?
Exactly. Nodirbek also has the problem of this bishop d5 move incoming, hitting that white queen. As you said, Judith, that white queen lacking too many safe squares. Looks great from Gukesh so far, and the white knight forced back just to keep the contact with the white rook and pawn, but that is depressing.
You can't be happy when you have to go back in such a position to the initial square with your knight.
Yeah, and Gukesh just castling the king to safety. He has the dream position.
Well, look what development advantage for black. Look at the bishops, the knights, the rook on c8, and white has to restart his development.
White's lost so much time. I think 4 or 5 moves with the white queen, and now this white knight has moved 3 times. Black, meanwhile, has been very efficient and everything perfect. H6.
At the same time, sometimes you get a very good position, but you have to keep going. And probably white will be moving away with his queen from b3, playing b3, bishop b2, trying to locate his knight to c4, and somehow stabilize the position. but he goes rook d1.
And Gukesh just keeping things simple. That's the motto so far. He just plants his queen on a very nice safe square. The other black rook is getting ready to go to d8. Everything harmonized, everything coordinated here.
Can white develop with his pieces ever? You know, one day bishop f2 is right there on the corner.
Yeah. Ooh, knight e1. Good classical Catalan move. Normally the white knight wants to sit on d3, but this time it just feels wrong. We see the question mark attached to that
Maybe
move.
bishop f2 it's time. What do you think?
Ooh, it's not going to happen in Armageddon, though, unless Gukesh really invests all his time to calculate. It could be strong, though, Judith, maybe.
Well, I don't know.
The white pieces are not ready. Bishop takes pawn, followed by a queen check. The
But
queen
not only
hitting the
queen
king.
check, also knight c5 is something to look after, you know? Because if you cannot go to e3 with the queen, knight g4. If you go to the c5, knight e4 check can happen. If you have to go to a2, then knight g4 and knight e3. So something... But of course, it's understandable.
Yeah, I think something was tingling there. His instincts were on fire there, Gukesh, but he had to be practical. He's only got 4 minutes. He brings his knight into the center. We see the red cross there temporarily. That was because an opportunity was missed. Maybe it was bishop takes f2, as Judith mentioned, but still a healthy position for black.
Yeah.
Nice and safe as well.
And you were right, Judith. That was the golden opportunity for Gukesh, but he has a very good position right now on the board. Take a look at white's pieces. They're all on the back row.
But
Not good
actually, there
news
was a
and big
blunder, I
threat.
think. It was a blunder by white because there is no move protecting the f2 square. The e2 pawn cannot play e3 because the f3 is under attack. So...
Ugh,
Oh.
bishop e3 on the board. His structure is going to be destroyed now, Abdusattorov. Gukesh can just capture this bishop, and white will not be loving any middle game, any end game with those doubled e-pawns.
I mean, how would you capture that bishop? It's so tempting to go knight takes bishop, okay, and it is on the board.
queen e4.
Okay, hunt down the e3 pawn. I like it.
And Gukesh feeling so relaxed that he can get up and check he is to getting increment. He's got 4 minutes to make 17 moves before he gets that luxury of 1 second. But
And grabbing the pawn.
oof, free pawn and big advantage. I'm not sure it's Abdusattorov who's going to survive until move 40. Pawn
But
up.
he's fighting.
And Gukesh under 4 minutes, whereas Abdusattorov has over 5 minutes. And remember, the players are playing without increment. They will get just a 1 second increment once they passed move 40. And there you see nice centralization of the rooks. Beautiful.
Yeah, he's even willing to give up 2 rooks for white's queen because white's remaining rooks, and this is going to happen. White's rooks will not be coordinated. White's pawn structure is in ruins. The black queen and black bishop looks too active here for white to ever.
Very bad piece play for white, apart from the fact that the queen and the pawn versus 2 rooks is just fine, especially when there is no activity.
Queen e2 on the board. I mean, attacking the rook and the b2 pawn. How can you hold on? Black's position is simply overwhelming.
Yeah, I don't think you can hold on. He went for an imbalance here, Abdusattorov. He had to try something, hence the queen for 2 rook decision. But black simply coming in. And this one could be over any minute. Gukesh too good. Yeah, the white rook had to run away. If it had gone to b3, it would have been trapped immediately. So rook to d7, hunting for counterplay.
Mistakes on b2, I believe.
Attacking the rook. It's extra material. Go for it, and he does.
Yeah, that pawn disappears. And white's rook moves, but you can move the f7 pawn. You can defend the f7 pawn. That black b pawn's going to decide the game.
Well, the bishop is extremely powerful.
Yeah, far superior to the white knight. I think this was just decided in the opening, right? Nodirbek's never been in the game, never had the fight even. b3.
He doesn't even bother to defend the f-pawn. I mean, what can you suggest for Nodirbek except for grab that pawn and hope for the best?
Well, I believe queen c3 is going to be on the board, or queen c2 first, and after rook d7, then queen c3, and the pawn will be pushed.
Yeah, Gukesh again feeling confident, gets up to check how many moves have been made. Nodirbek, either he goes extremely passive to stop the b-pawn, where he'll be beaten slowly but surely, or he goes active, as you say, Judith, tries to go for the black king with the 2 rooks on the 7th rank, but that's easily defended. That's easily rebuffed. I think he's going to go... Okay, he just slides across b2.
Rook b7.
He's holding up temporarily. How does black break through? Okay, lining up against the white e2 pawn.
And the worst thing is that, of course, white's in a must-win situation in all this. So you can't just simply bail out with rook f2, queen d1. There you go.
Gukesh repeating the position.
Yes, because a draw is as good as a loss for Nodirbek.
Yeah, nothing to do. You're pretty much tied up here. You're bound hand and foot. You cannot move. The black b-pawn too strong. I think he'll bail out. Rook f2. And we'll see that handshake.
And bishop e3 is actually such a deadly threat. It's all falling apart. Maybe he can try and hold on with rook b3, but that's not going to solve anything. No.
I think he may try to play rook b8, let's say. And if bishop e3 takes to go rook f2. Not rook f2, king g2. And somehow try to win the b2 pawn.
Yeah, it feels like black will have a perpetual check with the queen either way. Also, breaking news, will have another Armageddon because Magnus Carlsen has just drawn against Anish Giri. We'll go to that one shortly. The Armageddon fall on his sword here. Nothing to be done. No defense. Rook back to b3.
Oh no, but the queen will come to c2.
Well, it's just a repetition, right? Queen c2, rook b7, going back.
Queen e2, and they're starting to repeat the position.
There we see Gukesh is the arbiter. He's about to play the move queen e2. That will be the 3rd time that position's repeated. And handshake, it is a draw. Gukesh takes the points.
Oh, walking away with 1.5 points, whereas Nodirbek gets just 1 point. What is happening here?
Just clarifying the result. This individual game was a draw, but of course a draw suits black in the Armageddon. And here we see, Gukesh after that really exemplary display